Hello everybody, this is Greg Stock. I'm the CEO of Thibodaux Regional Health System. I have with me today here Dr. Derek Neupert. Dr. Neupert is a neurologist, and we want to spend a few minutes to get to know him. Great young guy, and so I'll just turn it over to you, Dr. Neupert, to introduce yourself.
Thank you. Like I said, my name's Derek Neupert. I'm from the New Orleans area. I was born and raised in Kenner, which is a suburb right outside of New Orleans. For my undergraduate degree, I went to Spring Hill College in Mobile, Alabama. And then for med school, came back to New Orleans. I went to LSU Med. After that, I completed a residency in neurology at Tulane. And then one of the areas that interested me during that time was seizures and epilepsy, so I completed a one-year fellowship at Duke in clinical neurophysiology.
Great training, great training. It's a pleasure to have you and your family here in the community. Tell everybody a little bit about your family.
Sure. Well, they're also, my wife's family's from the North Shore of in Slidell, Louisiana. I have, her name's Holly, and then we have two daughters, Charlotte and Audrey. We're excited to be here. We moved here to Thibodaux, and looking forward to putting down some roots in the community.
It's awesome. It's great to have you. By the way, neurologists are really hard to find from a hospital viewpoint, and having the services available to these communities in this area. It's literally a blessing to have you here, and we appreciate it. There are 4 neurologists now, and you guys work together and provide great care from my knowledge of it. And I've been pretty involved with it so far. So, Dr. Neupert, just for a moment or two, could you kind of give an overview of what you think neurology is?
Sure. So a neurologist is a physician who specializes in the treatment of care of the neurosystem, so diseases that may involve the brain, the spine, and the peripheral nerves. And that covers a lot of different conditions. So on the one hand, you have very acute, very serious, very life-threatening conditions like strokes, seizures, neuroinfectious diseases like meningitis, encephalitis. And then on the other side of that spectrum, we also take care of patients with memory loss, dementia, chronic headaches, migraine headaches, and kind of everything in between.
That's amazing. And you also have this fellowship from Duke University in epilepsy. You want to just briefly talk about that?
Sure. So epilepsy is a condition that causes somebody to have repeated unprovoked seizures, and that can come in many different forms. And that's important because your treatment for the seizures and for the epilepsy condition can vary depending on those factors. It's a very common condition that I think a lot of people aren't necessarily familiar with. Worldwide, some of the numbers that they use are 1 in 10 people have one single or lifetime seizure. And then in America, 1 in 26 can go on to get a diagnosis of epilepsy.
That's interesting. We had, as you and I have talked, in our own family, we had a daughter that had epilepsy and was challenged with that till she was about 11 years old. It's quite a journey, and having somebody around that understands that's trained in it, and the treatment respect is really a critical matter. You're the only one in this region that's trained that way. So again, we appreciate having you here. Well, that's a brief introduction to Dr. Derek Neupert, great young neurologist with extraordinary training in epilepsy. We're so pleased to have you and your family in our community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're excited to be here. Yep.